Short answer, I personally have no idea what I was thinking when signing on to this. And yet there were 5 of us who did it. Hi, I'm Matti Abraham, an artist on the internet and a man trying to find his lost brain cells. A few days ago, I hosted a live stream saying that I was open to reacting to my old testimony and Rebeccah's addressing my abuse video when the topic came up. I denied doing it because I didn't want to seem like I'm leeching off of the Star Giant stuff. I still don't want to seem like I'm leeching off of it. I was genuinely curious to see how these testimonies hold up after 2 years. Although these testimonials seem like they had a real bone to pick with John because his testimonials genuinely had a real bone to pick with Rebeccah, I can almost assure you that John has no ill will towards any of these individuals, including myself. Despite the fact that there are 5 of these, I will only be reacting to 4 of them and excluding the final testimonial being Dar the Star. A quick reminder to who Dar the Star is: she was a former friend, artist, editor, and server moderator for Rebeccah Starlight. You name it, she probably did it. But the treatment she was given in return does not make me happy. She tried to warn Rebeccah about Necopon and told her to do a background check on her, and as a result, Rebeccah blocked and banned Dar instead. When I convinced Dar to ditch Rebeccah like I did at the time, we were both labeled as abusers even though she abused us. Terribly. But of all the mistreatment I've seen towards Dar, her testimony is the absolute worst. Rebeccah asked her to do a testimony just like the rest of us, and what transpires is Dar lamenting on some pretty deep shit. I'm not going to say what it is for the sake of Dar's privacy, but if Rebeccah had any conscience whatsoever, she would not have included it in the final video. I don't recommend watching it either to feel sympathy for Dar, because as previously stated, there are other reasons to do so. But if you do decide to look it up for yourself, watch it at your own risk. And yes, I did get Dar's permission to speak up about this in this video. With all that in mind, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. What you'll notice is that I go out of order. I'm the second testimonial, but I reacted to mine first because I initially wanted to do just mine, but I felt like I needed to shine some light on the rest, good or bad. You'll see why. It is 1:50 in the morning on February 15th, 2025, and I am here reacting to something that came out a couple years ago. If all goes according to plan, then this video will be up by the time this video turns like, what, 2 years old? Yeah. Today, I'm going to be responding to or tonight, I'm going to be responding or reacting to the testimonials in the infamous Addressing My Abuse video. So, yeah, this is going to be real fun. Okay, so I wrote a bunch of timestamps, indicating where each testimony is. I'll probably delete it later on. So, it's just so that it makes my job easier and not as hard to navigate, because this video is 3 hours long, and it's, hard enough to find all of the important clips because she rambles on for so long. But, yeah. With all that said, let's get into it. I am not looking forward to this. Oh, and for the record, I am reacting to most of these completely blind. I have not seen all of these in full since this video's inception, since it came out. So let's get into this.
Abraham will now talk about me.
Alright, I guess I'm doing this. Hey, I'm Matti. You know, YURiKA guy. Okay, so right out of the gate, you can already tell that it sounds like I don't want to be there, despite the fact that I chose to be there. So, this is already off to an interesting start. I call myself the art guy as if I don't have anything more interesting going for me. Also, I hate looking at this avatar. It is so old. That hoodie color is really dark and desaturated. I might have to look into getting that into my newer software. And those glasses, man. The eyes, man. It's so outdated and weird. It's not good. We're not even 5 to 10 seconds in, and I'm already just rambling on for no reason. So, all right, let's see what I have to say. Working with Rebeccah has had many ups and downs, especially as of late with all the controversies and drama going on. Now, don't get me wrong, I like working with Rebeccah, especially with all the friends I've made along the way that I've come to view as family. So, at least half of that sentence made it seem like I was self-aware of this whole situation. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Let's see what else I had to say. But I've always felt a bit underutilized. I'm not going to complain, but sometimes when I am being utilized, I'm given such a short amount of time to work on projects, causing thumbnails for videos to be finished after a video already goes up. Okay, I think I know what I was talking about here. I think back when I initially wrote and recorded this, I was kind of like internally bitching about not being in enough videos, like not having like cameos of me actually voicing things. Or, like, you know, talking about stuff. Like, for example, her, what was it? Loud House School video. Because she did a whole section where she, like, wanted to talk about that whole Canada song. And since I'm Canadian, it would have made sense for me to actually, like, tear that song to shreds. Like, spoiler alert, I absolutely hate that song. Otherwise, I think, I was also internally bitching about the fact that I wasn't in enough, like, Pixar Path episodes. Even though, like, I asked to be in one, and she said no. But yeah, I kind of see what I'm getting at here, so let's move on. For example, I was only given 5 to 10 minutes to work on the top 10 worst Christmas animations thumbnail, which the YouTuber The Infromentator made a comment on in his video, and I defended myself there, and will defend myself again here. So, okay. It was... When I was initially recording this, it was so goddamn hard for me to say the Infromentator's name. So, I know how to say it now, but back then, I was just getting tongue-twisted all the time. But, yeah. If you guys have seen my original video on Rebeccah, then you'll know, like, the context behind this story. Like, she didn't say I have 5 to 10 minutes to work on that thumbnail. It was basically when I got back, I was working against the clock, basically. Like, the video was, like, going up, and I didn't have anything, like, I'm still rambling on. Yeah, it was a race against the clock. I didn't have any, like, resources, any time, nothing like that. So, like, yeah. So, it seemed like 5 to 10 minutes. I wasn't, like, explicitly given that much amount of time to actually make the thumbnail. And, yeah. But, yeah, back to watching me bitch about the Infromentator. Well, it seemed like I only had a few minutes to work on it, because I was very busy that day, which you could tell if you look at the following timestamps. Okay, so I provided screenshots for Rebeccah to actually, like, post in, like... Hold on. I provided screenshots to provide in, like, this area of the screen that she was supposed to insert to have, like, better context of my whole situation, but she didn't really do that. I don't know why she didn't do that. But, yeah. It's probably just, like, a side effect of Rebeccah's, like, really lazy editing. Because she takes, like, all these shortcuts and doesn't really, listen to all the audio provided and, like, provide the, resources needed to make her editing and make statements come across as, like, more clear. So, yeah. Look, guys, something I take very seriously is my art and how people view it. And if you think something of mine is lazy, then you should probably stop and think, maybe it's just his clients asking for this. Because people have stated that I have the skills of an amazing artist. Yes, we get it. You were, like, back then, you were moderate at best, dude. Like, your art back then was not as good as it is now. Like, you're only going to get better from here. I don't know why you're bitching. I think, like, if I was doing this with Grace, then she would probably just say, wah, you're crying about the fact that people thought your art was lazy. Wah. I'm probably having way too much fun with this. Or, like, I'm trying to have fun with this because this is not fun. In fact, Rebeccah has asked me to make drawn art on multiple occasions. However, she doesn't pay me right away, but I'm well aware of her financial situations, and when she does pay me, she pays me a good amount. A good amount. Sure, buddy. Okay. So, for my drawn artworks, like, because Rebeccah was the first person who ever actually, like, commissioned me for artworks, we were discussing like what seemed fair at the time. And like back then, I only charged like $30 to $45 for a completed art piece, which is not a very good price range or a very good wage considering my quality of art. I think even back then, I was like severely underselling myself when it comes to artwork, which is like not a good thing to do, regardless of who's in charge and what their financial situation is like. So yeah, you kind of you undersold yourself severely, dude. I don't know what you were cooking back then.
He doesn't pay me for Photoshop jobs, but let's be real, anyone can do that job.
All right, let's. I will admit, like, I didn't explicitly say that I wanted to be paid for Photoshop jobs. Like, or hold on, I think if memory serves me right, then I think I wanted to be paid for Photoshop jobs for like $5, but she said that like she wouldn't pay me for that. And a quick reminder, that was like most of what I did in my entire time working for her. So I was essentially just being like overworked, underpaid severely, not even being paid at all for those. But let's see what this editor's note had to say. He has not wanted like payments for Photoshop thumbnails. Oh, okay, yeah. This is horrible text, by the way. I don't know why she has her drop shadow be that far from the font. Yeah. I think that's like the only thing that Rebeccah bothered to actually add to this testimony. But let's see what else I have to say.
Am I calling myself Rebeccah's best artist? No, because art is subjective, and it takes a lot of passion to create something truly amazing.
But you're not wrong. Like, you're not wrong in like the passion thing, but you are wrong in the sense that you were Rebeccah's best artist. Like, I like to be humble when it comes to my art, at least. So I wasn't gonna like toot my own horn and say, "Oh, I'm Rebeccah's best artist." Like, no. That's not a very good title for me to have. I don't want that to be on my like tombstone or something. Like, sure, my art is good and everything. I was probably Rebeccah's best editor, and I think I have to agree when people tell me that now, considering like the competition or like the like everyone else, like how everyone else was like drawing Rebeccah and everything. Like some were good and some were chanceur. Alright, let's see what else.
But now for what you really want me to talk about. Has Rebeccah abused me in any way?
Yes.
Thankfully, no. But that's not to say she hasn't done some things that haven't gotten under my skin.
Yes, like, that is a complete lie right there, but I'm gonna let myself finish before I continue further.
Such as her not letting me hide Easter eggs in everything I do, although half the thumbnails I made barely contain any places for me to hide any. Some very awkward situations the two of us share sometimes, and how she occasionally treats others, especially our mutual friends. I won't go into details for that last one, but I will say this. Rebeccah is still capable of trying to make up for her mistakes.
She isn't. But yeah, that is a 100% lie, dude. You just told a lie to your audience, or to the audience. Like, Rebeccah did abuse you. She did abuse her friends. And yeah, I don't know what I was cooking when it comes to like talking about the whole Easter egg thing. Sure, I like hiding Easter eggs when it comes to drawing things I do for other people, or at least I used to. I don't really do that a lot nowadays because it's like yeah, it's not really all that important. Like, if I wanted to hide an Easter egg or something in any thumbnail I make for anyone else, I'd probably just like hide or probably just add a watermark or something. I don't know. Alright, see what else you have to say, dude.
Is she any good at it? No, not as much as you'd like, but it's always better to at least try and improve as opposed to remaining this awful version of yourself. And I still very much think that this video is a bad idea because it may open some old wounds for Rebeccah, but I guess it's too late to stop her now, is it?
Wow, I was so passive-aggressive. I gotta applaud myself for that, honestly. That's my testimony? Like, The thing about my testimonies, I forget it constantly. I forget what I say in it. But that is... I think I have to agree with everyone when they tell me that that is the best testimony in the entire video. Because, yeah, I was passive-aggressive, and I don't know what I was cooking with, like, everything else in it. I don't know. I guess we'll soon see what the others are like. Okay, so as a quick little bonus, we are going to be reacting to, or I'm going to be reacting to the other testimonies, starting with Chelsea, aka Cartoongal. But first, I feel like it's important for me to show the first few seconds of like the last few seconds of what Rebecca's actually saying before it transitioned to like the testimonies to see how sloppy her editing is, or her stream of broken consciousness, as John puts it. So, alright, let's view this.
John, you and I have never been in the same room together. Hell, we never have been in the same state together.
That is entirely irrelevant to the entirety of the video. Like, what does being in the same state, in the same room as John, have anything to do with what you're trying to make this entire video about? That's dumb. You're dumb, Rebecca.
Here's this quote from me. If you were me, then you would understand me. But if you aren't me, then you won't fully understand me. We could have talked things out, but John and I never once had our own VC conversation of just the two of us.
Neither have we. That's not entirely something that really matters in the grand scheme of like creating something like trying to fix your mistakes or something like that. Like, if people don't want to VC to you directly, then just leave it at that. Like, don't bother them about this, and don't make these hour-long tantrums about you not getting to VC with your former boss or something like that, or someone you really looked up to. Because, like, I have people I look up to that I don't really get to VC one-on-one all the time, and I'm cool with that, you know? Like, people have their own lives. So, with all that said, let's continue.
Trolls were like this, or are like this actually. Even when I was in group VCs, John would barely talk. Do you think that I would have friends in the present, John, both online and in person?
Well, I don't think you have any now. But yeah, having been in VCs with John a few times, like, he's not as talkative, but like, what do you expect? He's not like a chatterbox or anything. Like, he just sounds tired a lot of the time. And I would know, because again, I've been in VCs with him before. Like, he did a few live streams where we even, like, you can't even see as much.
If I acted like how you described me, the answer is simple. You are wrong about me, John. You have no right to judge who I am as a person if you don't personally know me. And no, John or any of his teammates did not personally know me.
I don't think they care to know you. Because, or I think some of them did, but I don't think they really, like, wanted to, like, get involved with all this. Or this is a really dumb statement. Like, they might have known you, they just didn't care about you because you treated them like shit, basically. Like, for people like Wes and Grace, like, you treated them awfully. Like, they have no reason to interact with you after you got fired. So it's just like, who really cares what you have to say about them? Because they certainly don't. I don't know if, like, again, it's like late at night and I'm just rambling at this point. But yeah, let's continue.
But to really help my claim on why I'm actually good at conversation and helping people, we're going to listen to my first speech from my friend, Chelsea.
Okay, I should probably brace myself for this. Let's get into this.
Hey there, everybody. My name is Chelsea, also known as Cartoongal. I did a collaboration with Rebeccah last year on her top 10 best Gravity Falls list.
I know that because I made the thumbnail for it.
One of the things that I'm going to debunk is what Mr. Enter said on Rebeccah when it comes to social cues. She actually does understand them.
I highly doubt that because of like the whole like she'll claim that she understands social cues, but at the same time she'll just be horny about she'll just be horny in any conversation that she's in. So yeah, not off to the best start.
So if you can apologize to Crimson, John, why can't you apologize to Rebeccah as well?
The answer is simple. They Rebeccah owes them an apology for how terribly she treated each and every single member on John's team, including me, including you even, because she asked you to make this testimony. As we'll soon see, it does not get better from here.
Just making her the 7th worst entry on your worst list only adds more fuel to the fire. And you shit-talk her multiple times in that video.
That's a double standard, actually, because Rebeccah shit-talks John a whole lot more than John shit-talks him, or shit-talks her. Rebeccah shit-talks John a lot more than John shit-talks her. That's my correction. I have my phone buzzer on. Okay. Nothing too important. But yeah, that statement is just a total double standard. And it doesn't... I have a feeling it probably won't get better from here.
And that only came out last week at the time of this. You even say that it's all your fault.
Okay, that is some terrible audio work. I don't know what that was. But yeah.
So why do you still blame Rebeccah? No other editor or artist or whatever got this treatment. And Rebeccah's done some good edits for you, like Norm of the North 2, Certifiable Super Sitter, Camp Coral, My Gym Partner's a Monkey, 2000's Nikorama, Thundercats Roar, Samurai Jack Season 5, and Soul.
Okay, so I mean this with no disrespect to Cartoongal, but you probably have very poor taste in art and audio and video editing. If you think those are actually good, because her Norm of the North edit is not that great, and I've seen it myself, and it's bad. I had something else to say. I should probably rewind a little bit.
Norm of the North. And Rebeccah's done some artist or what. Still blame Rebeccah. No other editor or artist or whatever got this treatment.
Yeah, because no other artist or editor, to my knowledge, has done enough bad things to warrant that kind of response, from John personally. Because you don't really see someone say Crimson Mayhem going on 3-hour tirades about how John was a bad boss or whatever. Because as John himself said, that most artists, editors, and pretty much everyone into that nature, they all left on completely mutual terms with them. Yeah. The departure was mutual in all of those other cases except for Rebeccah, because she was, to my knowledge, is the only editor that he had to fire. So, yeah, odds are they're not going to receive this kind of treatment.
And Rebeccah's 2000's Nikorama. And Rebeccah is a way better editor than you, John.
I disagree, because I've seen enough of John's editing and enough of Rebeccah's editing to really have a full grasp on who's the better editor. Yeah, that's not the best statement.
especially in 2022-2023. Rebeccah was only mad at you for giving bad advice that led to Hope almost committing suicide 20 times. That
Okay, bad advice in terms of Wes. In terms of like what handling how Wes was going through like depression that causes that kind of like like I don't know. Like I also don't like how she's getting people like Chelsea or Cartoongal to also misgender and dead name Wes. But then again, I don't think Chelsea knew about like Wes's trans status either at the time. But I just know that he's not going to be appreciative to that statement or to that knowledge once he sees this video, if at all. So let's continue.
Rebeccah herself had to fix. Yeah, Rebeccah said something bad in one moment, but can you blame her? 2020 sucked for everybody.
It did. It sucked for everybody. It sucked for me. But Rebeccah is making it seem like 2020 sucked for her a lot more than everyone else. Which, like, she really needed to get over her narcissism, but she just didn't. And as such, she's made 2020 sound like the worst year of her life when everyone else was in the same boat.
But this is why you need to listen, John. Rebeccah listens to people. Now it's your turn. And how do I know Rebeccah is a good listener, John? Well, sit back and listen good, 'cause I'm about to tell you. I remember the day I first met Rebeccah. I was scrolling through YouTube looking for something to watch when I caught one of her Cartoon Network 64 videos. It was either Dexter's Laboratory or Cow and Chicken, I can't remember which, but her review video really caught my attention, so I started watching more and more of her videos and interacting in the live stream chat. Then I noticed that she had a Discord group.
Yep, that's how she gets you. You think like she's a good person or an alright person based on like her content that she puts out, but then once you actually get to know her a little bit, you still think that she's a good person, but soon enough you wind up realizing that she's not like the best. And I'm just gonna comment on this too. Like I kind of hear some cartoons going in the background. Like I don't know if you were like watching cartoons and recording this audio at the same time, which is like kind of unprofessional. But then again, like she's like Chelsea's probably not like the most professional when it comes to audio editing or audio recording or something like that. And I mean that with no disrespect whatsoever. She's probably not like well versed in the whole like YouTube landscape when it comes to recording audio. But yeah, let's continue.
And so I joined, messaged her, and from there, me and Rebeccah became great friends. Now I'm a big cartoon nerd, hence my username.
So, wait, hold on. Did you get your username because you were talking to Rebeccah and getting into like cartoons and stuff? Because if you did, I feel so sorry for you more than I already do. Because that'd be like me going by my username because Rebeccah calls me that. But yeah, that's not great if that's true.
And I'm happy that me and Rebeccah shared the same love and bond for animation. But I don't just like talking and being friends with Rebeccah for animation. I also really enjoy talking to her because we talk about other things in life. She also likes hanging out with me and my nice qualities. She just likes me for me, and she especially really knows how to take the time to listen to me when things get really bad, and is always there to cheer me up.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, like you also have other people who are a lot nicer than Rebeccah to actually talk to and actually get along with, because like I remember I was in your Discord server too back in the day. I think I ended up leaving because I was kind of bored, but I was still open to talking to you a little bit more, like if you were to like reach out and stuff like that. Like I'm pretty sure like there were other people in Rebeccah's server that you could also talk to and become great friends with. But the way this is kind of coming off as makes it sound like you're being a little bit parasocial, kind of like how Rosalie Ramsey kind of sounded when she, like whenever she talked about Rebeccah. But I don't know. That's probably just me. You're probably not that way now.
Like when things got really bad with my mom, and whenever she got all violent and started yelling or farting around the house, or whenever I get a really bad memory of her, Rebeccah always listened to me and calmed me down. She even gave me advice on how to handle my mom and her gross fart obsession.
Okay, this is kind of weird. I don't know why you would talk to random people online for that kind of advice, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna deny that I do that too sometimes. But I don't know what you expect Rebeccah to do to help you handle that situation, other than just like, yeah, you probably mentioned the word fetish, and that just immediately grabs Rebeccah's attention. And yeah. Where was I going with this? I had a point. I should probably. I kind of don't want to rewind, but I will ask you this: like, did Rebeccah actually ask you to talk about your mother on a testimony about her or defending her? That's what I want to know. Like, I should have asked you about all this before I started recording all this, but you know what? Like, I might ask you about this, like, once this video goes up, but as it is right now, we're just gonna ask you some questions as if you'll probably answer them. I don't know.
Like, for example, she taught me to stand up for myself and not let my mom get away with ruling over me and my dad, and it worked out so well.
Yeah, more power to you. Like it's nice to stand up for yourself and everything, but yeah, I don't. I'm pretty sure if you were to talk to anyone else, they would also tell you to stand up for yourself and not take no bull from nobody. But that's just me. I'd probably talk to like other people too, and so that way I can have like other like a very more like a lot more people will tell me I should stand up for myself and not just Rebeccah. But like I said, that's just me.
Me and my dad were able to get her to leave the house, which I'll get into more later on. But look at how well Rebeccah helped me out. She taught me to stand up for myself, and if it weren't for her advice, I wouldn't be so bold and brave, and my mom would most likely still be living at my house to this very day.
But like, would she though? Again, I feel like if you talk to other people about this, they'd probably also encourage you to be braver and bolder and stand up for yourself. But yeah, that's still good that you managed to get your mom out of the house and like not take her like bullcrap anymore or bullshit. I don't know why I keep trying to sugarcoat the fact that I don't have a problem with swear words.
Again, I'll get to that later on. Rebeccah really helped me out.
Later on, how long is this testimony again? Oh jeez. Oh Jesus. I am in for some shit. Oh boy.
And saved me from my mother. She's just a fantastic friend. But yes, as I've mentioned earlier, my mom unfortunately has a really disgusting fart fetish. You heard that right. The short answer is because she had...
I'm gonna read these real quick.
Uh... Okay, I will say this. I kind of agree with Rebeccah here, but I will also say this about your mother. She sounds like she sounds like a deranged lunatic if she's doing all that intentionally. Yeah, that sounds like terrible. I feel so sorry for you.
An ex-boyfriend that was smelly and gross and had a farm.
Oh. Oh god, that is terrible. Your mother is terrible, dude. That is... Oh my god.
She was going to marry him, but he died because he served in the Bosnian War. While my dad is actually nice, kind, and...
Wait. Yeah, your mother sounds deranged based off of all these text messages. That for some reason Rebeccah decides to add this kind of stuff for your testimony, but not mine. For like better context. That is disgusting. That is... Again, I feel so sorry for you based on all of this stuff. This is... Yeah, hopefully your life and your dad's life is a lot better. Like after you manage to get your mom to leave the house, because this is...
clean. I love my dad, and he has no fart fetish.
And it just keeps going. Jesus Christ, that is... At a picnic in public? What is with your mom? This is disgusting.
He even hates it when my mom tries to fart in his face. And
As anyone would.
this has been going on for over 20 years. I have a
I completely agree with this. There's a lot of things to go wrong with your mom and going through Thanksgiving like that.
complicated relationship with my mom. I find it very hard to talk about. She always tries to embarrass me, like when I was in first grade and she was stuck in the bathroom. Basically, we had a school fair that day, and they had parents sign up and volunteer to host activities for the kids at the fair. My dad couldn't come since he was busy with work, so my mom took the role and she signed up for Storytime Corner,
Oh
where
god.
she had to read a book to all the kids. Things were going fine at first, but when it was my group's turn for Storytime Corner, things took a turn for the worse.
Oh my goodness. I already know where this is going based on like my repeated viewings on John's video and talking about Rebecca. But I want to give a friendly reminder. This was apparently memed on by people in the comment section. Like, what it? Are you like? Did people make fun of her initially? Like for this whole testimony, did people make fun of her for this? This isn't someone you want to make fun of. This is someone you want to sympathize for. This is. Oh my goodness.
My mom only just started the book when suddenly she had to go to the bathroom, so she paused the reading and left. It took her 44 minutes to come out of that goddamn bathroom. Why? She was having the time of her life in there, farting it up, 'cause it helps keep the spirit of Thomas alive, according to her. My teacher got so frustrated and impatient with her that she took my mom's job and finished the reading herself.
Good on her, because that sounds terrible. Like you're supposed to be reading to kids, but instead you're just in the bathroom just doing your thing. That's not very professional. I and she did that on your class specifically. Is that really what happened? Because that makes your mom sound a whole lot worse.
All the kids in my group laughed. It was so embarrassing. I remember one kid asked me, "Chelsea, was that your mom?" I lied and said that it was my neighbor, that neither of my parents could come to the fair, so they paid my neighbor to come in their place with me to the fair instead.
That's kind of a solid lie, actually. Whether they believe it or not is something I'm kind of curious about, but as you said, this was probably when you were like in first grade, right? So who even remembers at that point anymore? But yeah, that is a solid ass lie.
Luckily, my peers bought that, and nobody suspected that it was my mom.
Hell yeah, my confirmation is confirmed.
Yes, I had to pretend that my mom was my neighbor because she embarrassed me that much. It was one of the worst things my mom has ever done to me. And that's not the only thing she's done.
Oh dear lord, that's not the worst? That is not the worst. Oh my god. I should probably brace myself mentally because this is not a happy story.
My mom has done so many horrible and embarrassing things that I could write a whole book about it, but I don't want to. I'm already traumatized enough by all the things she's done, and I don't want to even think about my mom anymore. Thank goodness she doesn't live with me and my dad anymore. And Rebecca was more or less my therapist.
Kind of a shitty therapist, but that's still very good that you managed to get your mom out of the house. I am so glad that you guys are living much happier lives without her.
Since the day we met, she's been giving me advice on how to deal with my mom, and Rebecca asked for nothing in return. It's kind of like turning red with me. No, nothing to do with 9/11, but rather May's relationship with her mom.
Because haha, John is the funny 9/11 turning red guy. Haha, it's not funny really. It's dumb. Thankfully he apologized for that, so I won't hold him accountable for it. But yeah, let's continue.
It's kind of like my real mom, only my real mom is much worse. At least Ming changed and became a better mother to May. I'm sorry, this is hard for me to talk about. As I stated earlier, my mom is not at home and doesn't currently live with me and my dad. She is living with my grandmother. My mom not too long ago went to the hospital for a heart attack. Why? because she eats too many disgusting foods like Taco Bell to keep on farting and honor her dead ex-boyfriend Thomas.
Okay, so I know I don't have any dead exes, but is it really that deep to just continuously eat that kind of food just so you can do that? That's oh my god, that is
She needs to be watched. She even on occasion tries to come back to my house without permission. Luckily, my dad was able to save me. He was even understanding of me holding off on going back to college since I felt like I wasn't ready yet. We're rich, so we're able to afford things at present. And
lucky you, honestly. I say with my little spider broke boy or spider broke bitch ass. I shouldn't be laughing, but that's good that you have a stable income.
I'll go back to college when I'm ready. Whenever my dad wasn't helping me, usually my Discord friends helped. Most notably my boyfriend Brent, and of course Rebecca. They were the ones that I trusted the most to help me out with my problems, and they really got me through a lot. I'm so lucky to have them in my life. So Rebecca does know what social cues are, and she's a very helpful person and one of the nicest people that I have ever met in my life. I'm so proud and lucky to have her as a best friend.
Best friend, huh? Yeah, sure. Hopefully you have managed to find better friends throughout this entire debacle like I have, because you really do deserve better. Like, people say that to me often, but I'm kind of tired of hearing that, so I will say that to you, Chelsea Cartoongal. You deserve better. I hope for the best for you in terms of just about everything. And yeah, hopefully you're not mad at me for going into your testimony and reacting to it. So, yeah. Okay, time for Jackson's testimony now. Yay. I had to rewind back a little bit so I can probably get some context for this one too. So, let's see what Rebeccah has to say.
I'm not gonna say that John is a bad person. That's stupid. What you're like on the internet is not how you're like in real life. Though some people have told me that John has been like this for years, even the smallest things can have the biggest effects in the future.
Hey everyone, this is Jackson. I'm Rebecca's best friend. We've known each other since 2016 through DeviantArt, but we didn't meet each other in person until 2017. For 6 years, we've been hanging out almost every single day since we lived close by. We both really love cartoons, and there was even a time when we both enjoyed the mysterious Mr. Enter. I really love his reviews of Survival Super Sitter, the top 20 worst theme songs, Out Bowling, and the Boom Crew Crew atrocities. I still love that skateboards! His brain is a fucking skateboard bit! John's exaggeration is something that is good. You know, back when he used to be funny.
Okay. From what I gather, he used to be a former fan of Mr. Enter before I took it until after John fired her, at which point he probably became bitter that Rebeccah was fired or something. I don't know. But I've never seen that skateboard bit, so I'm not too sure if you needed to describe it, but you do you, man.
Or at least thought was funny. Like John, I too claim to be a writer. One of my proudest works is Animation Acres, where all sorts of animated characters from Looney Tunes, SpongeBob SquarePants, South Park, Frozen, Aladdin, and so much more live in the same neighborhood.
So that's basically a fan fiction of his, and yeah, I've never read it myself, but I imagine based on who he's friends with, it's probably not well structured or something like that. It might be, I don't know.
But for this video, I want to bring up another story, SquarePants Are Magic, a crossover between SpongeBob and My Little Pony. I worked on the premise from about 2013 to 2015, and around that time, I was a watcher of Mr. Renter. He seemed like an expert on what made both shows work, so I thought I would ask him for advice on ins and outs of what I could do.
Which is not a great idea, dude. Like, sure, you think it's a good idea at first, but in execution, it's like, no, that doesn't work. Like, that's not how it works. Creators don't owe you that kind of attention. Because, like, content creators don't owe you that kind of attention. Yeah, because, like, they're gonna be too busy working on their own stuff to really care about what you got going on with your stories. Like, you have to write stories the way you feel are best for those stories. You don't need to, like, get any big name YouTubers to try to read them and give you advice on them.
I sent him a note on DeviantArt, but he didn't respond. I don't mind if he didn't want to read it, but he said nothing. I don't even know if he ever read it, or even saw my message. I thought I was pestering him at one point in time. So I said that I was sorry, and to my surprise, he actually accepted and messaged me. After that, I decided to ask him again, seeing that he was answering others.
Which, again, not the best idea. Like, say it with me now. Say it with me. Creators do not owe you that kind of attention. They're too busy doing their own thing to really read your stuff. Yeah. It's dumb. This testimony is kind of dumb so far. And I'm not too sure how much more longer this goes on for.
But it never got to me. This happened with Rebeccah as well. In John's private server, he would constantly ignore her and talk to everyone else. On certain occasions, that is.
Are you sure it's not because Rebeccah would constantly interrupt conversations and kind of be annoying about it? Because he's presented evidence that Rebeccah would disrupt flows of conversation and it became real obnoxious really quickly. So there's a chance that he didn't want to talk to Rebeccah for that reason alone. So I'm not too sure if that... I'm not too sure if that's helping your case in any way.
I'm just gonna say, John does not care about his fan base. I know that most big creators don't, but I really did feel like he was the only exception at one point in time.
Okay, creators care about their fan bases. They just... okay, say it with me again. Say it with me. They do not owe you that kind of attention. They don't owe you their time. They don't owe you their attention. They don't owe you anything. They just... If they do owe you anything, then it's the content they create, and that's literally it.
And now he shuns himself from everyone. I don't know why he started a third Twitter account. He's not going to use it for fun stuff, just to promote his videos.
Okay, that's... I feel like that's a given for some YouTubers. They need a social platform to advertise their videos. I don't know what else they would do with that. Because, like... if you're a YouTuber and you have a big fan base, and odds are you're gonna want to have an account to advertise your channel and not do any fun stuff. Like what do you expect him to do? Post his breakfast or something? What he eats for breakfast, or post what he does all day? That's like, this is John we're talking about. He's like, I know I like hanging out with John and everything. He's really fun, but he's not as fun as you probably expect. So, yeah, it's... my brain is turning to mush listening to this guy.
And you have to pay him for Discord. And what do you get out of it? Either dead silence from the guy, or what happened to Star Wars fan. He was rude on the ping policy. John could have worded it as, "Hey, thanks for the compliment, Star Wars fan. But for the future, could you please not use the everyone pane? That's only meant for me and my staff." In hindsight, I'm glad that John didn't read SquarePants Are Magic or Animation Acres. I feel like he would have given me bad advice, considering that he's a guy that wants to remove comedy and thinks that comedy is overrated. In terms of getting my stories public, don't worry, I got a much better deal on Animation Acres talking to Susan Egan. Yes, the woman that played Bella on Broadway herself. She was also Megara from Hercules and Rose Quartz on Steven Universe. And she gave me very excellent advice that I took to heart. So for me, respect your fans. I can't tell you how many times Rebeccah came to me crying about how much you hurt her, John. And to anybody out there who shits on her, claiming that they know the kind of beast she is, take it from someone who knows her in the real world. Yeah, that's right. I know Rebeccah outside the internet. As a matter of fact, we're neighbors.
Okay, just because you're neighbors doesn't mean, like, that's just one side of the story. You have to consider, like, everyone else's side in the story, and, like, everything that Rebeccah probably told you. There's always, like, another point of view on the subject. Because, like, say, she was bitching about Wes to you, like, how she does, like, how she, like, misgenders and dead names Wes for no reason, and bitches to you about it. You probably need to also consider Wes's feelings on any given subject, because he's also a victim. He is also annoyed by Rebeccah and her tendencies. So, yeah, I really, this is my only sense of pity that I have towards you. Since you live close by Rebeccah, that's like the only strain of pity I can probably give you, or pity, sympathy. That's the only reason I feel sorry for you.
We see each other almost every day, like I said. She's like my sibling. We take every chance we can to hang out, and we have been on each other's shoulders for us to cry on. Do we have a perfect friendship? No, there's plenty of times we get in fights, but we remember the good connections and times we had and make up instantly.
Oh, so is that what I should do? I just remember all the good, magical, fun times that I had with Rebeccah, and suddenly, like, all of my stuff is gonna be gone just like that? Yeah, no, that's not how it works. If someone mistreats you, and if you fight about it, then you can make up if you want, but if this is a repeated pattern of behavior, then you're not going to want to stick around that person for much longer. But yeah, let's see what else you have to say on this.
We sometimes hug, we sometimes cry, we quote a cartoon out of context, we laugh, you know. One thing I know about Rebeccah is that she likes to put effort into changing herself. So if you claim Rebeccah is a bad person, I say, get a reality check.
Yeah, that's Uno reverse card there, buddy. You should take your own advice. But yeah, I also once thought that Rebeccah was able to change, but I now see that she's not capable of any such change, and as such, it's not in anyone's best interest to keep her around in anyone's lives. So yeah, that was Yoda Jax's testimony. Is it just me, or did he seem kind of parasocial towards, like, the voice actor he mentioned? I don't know. That's probably just me. That's what he comes across as, is somewhat parasocial, and yeah, not all there. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this guy. Okay, so this is one testimony that no one really talks about when they discuss this video. Like, everyone says that there are 5 testimonies, which there are, but they only allude to 4 of them. But for some reason, they never talk about Jenny's testimony. But you know what? Today, I'm gonna fix that. Like, me and Jenny are close friends, so she probably regrets this testimony as much as me and Dara regret ours. But I think it might be, it might be somewhat insightful at the very least, so let's give it a shot.
When I was showing all of this to Jedobread, explaining why I fired said artist and why my girlfriend Leslie banned Sean from my server, Jed's mom came in and saw this and thought that I hosted a child sex trafficking ring.
Hello everyone, this is Jedobread. I am one of Rebeccah's close friends online. To keep things brief, I was, and still am, a fan of her works. I joined her Discord very early, met many people, engaged socially. One day, after making a bunch of fan art, I decided to try 2D animation. Just for fun though, I got an idea from Rebeccah herself. We talked for a bit. After enough time passed, here I am today, a closer friend than I ever expected. To talk about the butterfly effect, Now to address the current...
I mean, based on the way things went down, she probably doesn't stand by this anymore. Because, yeah, me and Dar, and I think even Jenny too, we don't stand by our testimonies at all whatsoever. So this is just, this aged like a very fine milk, really.
Situation. I am not really up to date with Nekopan. I can't confirm if she is a groomer or not. We never really interacted much. This Leo convoy needs to understand there's more to Rebeccah than meets the eye. Does Leo have an entire DM history of Rebeccah? No. Just brief contacts of information. Nothing is fleshed out personal as we have. Regarding Sean Soa, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, we've interacted only a little, but it wasn't much in terms of friendship. It was just discussing the Rebeccah OC. You know, making changes here and there, animating it. The DMs aren't long either. They're just from May 10th to September 30th, 2022. I agreed with Rebeccah. I found those artworks of Hilda pretty suspicious. Like, questionable. Actually, no, it went over the line of questionable. Uncomfortable. Nonetheless, they were okay chatting to, at least in the server at the time. Just the artwork that got on my nerves.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you, because that was so goddamn unhinged on his part. It was, yeah, and the fact that Rebeccah hired him, that makes it even worse, actually.
Eventually, after we booted Sean from the team and server, I was full of stress from my day job, the editing, the animation, and the fact that we lost a friend months of contact. My family heard about it and immediately jumped the gun in paranoia that I was talking to a paedophile, and that my online friends are roped me into some pedo ring.
I mean, they weren't too far off, considering Rebeccah's own allegations against her, with like her victim and everything that transpired with that. So your parents might have been onto something, but otherwise, yeah.
Left in a huff, all flustered. Like, imagine being upset, you're venting about losing a friend, and then you mention they did one bad thing, and then the family jumps the gun. Anyways, so during my huff, my mum was out, and she was comforting me. I asked her to talk to Rebeccah in a voice chat. I asked Rebeccah as well, and honestly, this was a huge favour, and I understand that Rebeccah was pressured. Nonetheless, she agreed, my mum agreed, and they both talked. Rebeccah was very professional with her discussion, and it eased my family's worries. Now, I understand why my family was paranoid, but jumping to conclusions, well, assume means ass, you, me. Make an ass out of you and me. Funny how many people assume things about Rebeccah. She's probably one of the best online friends I've ever made.
That's it? That's actually it? Like, is it just me, or did this one feel like it was cut off? Like, she had more to say about the subject? Like, there should have been more here, but it just feels like she got cut off. Like, has anyone noticed that? Like, maybe this is why no one really talks about her testimony, because it feels like there should have been more here, but it was cut off intentionally by Rebeccah, provided she was the one who was editing the testimonies in themselves. So, yeah. Those are the testimonies.
I think we're all in agreement here. Rebeccah should not have asked people to testify in her response video just because John had people testify in his. Asking these people to do so only did more harm than good, as she dragged others down with her. These people have also been criticized and made fun of for what they have done. Some were justified, but others were not. These people should not have been involved. Not me, not Jenny, not Chelsea, and especially not Dar. On the night of recording this, me and a very close friend, Uni, each gave her a bit of the help that she needs. Both of us each gave her $100 for no other reason than the fact that we wanted to help. The outcome that brought me to this moment certainly wasn't ideal, but it's one that I can't change, nor do I think I should, given that I'm in a much better spot in the creative landscape. I can only hope that most of the other testimonials have found peace now that the storm of criticism has long since passed. I think we can all learn something from this. If you're making a video like Rebeccah's and you feel like having people testify for you, don't. If your fans tell you that making the video is a bad idea, stop. And if you contradict a previous apology you made and deliver something worse, that's when it's time to throw in the towel. I now see why John doesn't wish to talk about Rebeccah any longer, because after subjecting myself to such cringe, I wouldn't either. which is why hopefully I won't need to talk about Rebeccah on my channel ever again, unless she returns and starts talking about me. And if she does, I will show no mercy. But with all that said, it's probably time I bid you all farewell once again. Be sure to like and subscribe, and hopefully my next real video will be a much lighter tone so you can draw something and use me as background noise in peace. Until next time, bye!